What if England win the World Cup?
You get to the semis, finals, which I think England can. They have a chance of winning it.
Where will England finish?
I think England will win it.
On to our last question, who's going to win the World Cup?
England.
One trophy, 60 years of waiting, generations of legends with Wayne Rooney, Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard and David Beckham. They came painfully close, but left with absolutely nothing.
1966. It happened. It was real. Jeff Hurst, the hat-trick, Wembley, the whole thing. Genuinely one of the greatest moments in sporting history, and this country deserves every bit of pride that we take from it. And trust me, we do, 60 years on. But, and I say this with enormous affection, we've been dining out now on this for a very long time. The waiters, they're getting tired. They're getting fed up. Give me something different. For goodness sake, England, how many years have we got to hear this story? Because here's the thing about England at World Cups. It's never boring. It's never boring. It's frequently painful, but it is never, ever dull.
And now that mission has been passed on to Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham, it all comes down to one simple question. Can England finally bring football home? The internet has turned that song into the biggest meme in football. Every tournament, England win one game, the social media explodes it's coming home. And England lose one game, the memes arrive even faster than Kyle Walker tracking back.
I'm gonna make it! I'm gonna make it! This is the greatest thrill of my life! I'm king of the world! Woohoo! Woohoo!
But something feels different this time. Not because England are playing beautiful football or they're scoring 5 goals every game, but because, for the first time in years, England look like a tournament team.
Gareth tried it and Lee tried it to bring the talent together and to bring maybe as many of these highly talented players together. And I am trying now at the moment, and still we feel that we are lacking the enthusiasm and the joy consistently on international level. So I can just underline that the individual has to take a step back for the greater good.
Thomas Tuchel didn't arrive to make England entertaining. He arrived to make England champions. No favourites, no untouchable superstars, no room for reputation. Only one goal only, to win everything. That's why some of England's biggest names stayed home while players nobody expected suddenly became indispensable.
I think from day one we were very clear that we are trying to select and build the best possible team, which is not necessarily to select and collect the 26 most talented players. Teams win championships, it's as simple as that. And what we are trying to achieve in summer can only be achieved as a team.
A decision that looked absolutely insane until England finished top of their group. So the question is here now, are England secretly building the perfect tournament team? Or are they simply delaying the next chapter of England's greatest tradition, giving their fans hope before breaking their hearts all over again?
I've said all along, and look, I'm about to drop something here I've never said before. And I also said England would win the World Cup, and you're all laughing now. Let's wait and see.
England finished top of the group with 7 points and an unbeaten record. They asserted their strength with a commanding 4-2 victory over Croatia, a team currently ranked among the world's top 11, before comfortably defeating Panama 2-0. The only blemish on their campaign was a scoreless draw against Ghana, a result that pundits described as a necessary reality check rather than a crisis.
England will get to the knockouts, we know that, comfortably. But when they face one of the elite or better teams, I think there's some easy holes to find in this England team going forward and defensively. They're on 4 points, they play Panama next. Everything's rosy in the garden in terms of going through. What was worrying was that even against a limited Ghanaian side, was how open they were when they coughed up possession in the second half. And if Ghana had a little bit more pace up front and a little bit more quality, maybe they could have just punished this England side today, a punishment that I think you won't get away with.
But Thomas Tuchel and the players should have learnt their lesson and play at a much higher tempo in that first 20 minutes. England will beat Panama, I think, no problem. They will change their game. They know they will change their philosophy, how they start the game, get an early goal and control it, I think.
But beyond the numbers and encouraging group stage results, the real story of this England team lies in the extraordinary depth of talent they possess. This may well be England's most gifted generation in the past 60 years, where the group stage did not create a new reputation, but merely confirmed the class they already had. Harry Kane not only found the net against Croatia, but also broke a record that had stood since before most of his teammates were even born. Meanwhile, Jude Bellingham continued to shine, reinforcing his status as England's best player across 2 consecutive major tournaments. That excellence has spread to the backline as well, where the centre-back pairing of Mark Guéhi and Ezri Konsa has performed so well that veteran John Stones now has to fight to reclaim his place in the starting lineup. That overwhelming depth of talent explains why even the blemish against Ghana revealed an impressive statistic, with England enjoying 78% possession and firing 19 shots against an opponent that committed virtually its entire team to defending. That reality proves this is not a squad lacking quality, but rather a team so good that the only thing capable of stopping them is an opponent refusing to play football. As a result, England's group stage success was no stroke of luck. A deep, talented and experienced England side is doing exactly what it should be doing, finishing top of the group and sending a powerful warning to the rest of the tournament. Now that the real question is whether this system and this collection of talent can go all the way, we need to take a closer look at the individuals who are turning this machine into such a terrifying force. Behind this relentlessly efficient machine stands the rational and ruthless mind of Thomas Tuchel, the man orchestrating it all. A manager who has no room for sentiment. He has won league titles in 4 different countries and stunned the football world by guiding a struggling Chelsea side to Champions League glory in less than 6 months. England appointed one of the world's greatest knockout stage masterminds for one purpose only: winning the World Cup. And the moment he took charge, Tuchel immediately backed up that ambition with a series of ruthless overhaul decisions, boldly leaving out several high-profile stars, including Phil Foden, Cole Palmer, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Harry Maguire.
Yeah. It's interesting because every single one of these names, it looks as if Tuchel didn't care about the names, as if you said. He just looked at profiles. Straight profiles.
Which is
this
how it
is
should
the
be, isn't
system.
it?
Yeah, it's odd because it's how it should be, but it's never how it's done. It's never ever how it's done. It's always, here are the biggest names that we bring. Here are the best players in our nation. We're gonna fit them in here. He's brought Noni Madueke, who was not a starter this season, but he is an out-and-out winger. Tuchel has opted for profiles over names, and like you said, we won't know if this is gonna work out until the end of the tournament. It's such an interesting selection because you can't judge it now.
Yet those omissions were far from acts of temporary ruthlessness. They reflected absolute conviction built on real data. Reece James, for example, won nearly 2/3 of his defensive duels, while Jed Spence outperformed almost every other England fullback in key defensive metrics, including duels won, interceptions, and ball recoveries. Although Trent Alexander-Arnold remains one of the finest passers on the planet, Tuchel's World Cup philosophy values a solid wall over a risky magic wand.
I don't think it's a surprise. You know, in terms of players being picked on form, then absolutely Trent Alexander shouldn't be in it. He hasn't played that much because of that bad injury he had. And then when he has played, from a defensive point of view, which even Tuchel brings up, he has been like a novice. He's looked like a rookie. And so it's not a shock. The one reason I would have taken Trent Alexander-Arnold is in case there's injuries.
The rewards of that data-driven belief have produced a system that is genuinely frightening. Up front, Harry Kane is not simply scoring goals, but operating as a deep-lying playmaker who dictates the game while still maintaining the ruthless finishing instincts of a world-class number 9. After the most prolific season of his career, scoring 61 goals in 51 matches for Bayern Munich, he's already established himself as a genuine Ballon d'Or contender before the knockout stage has even begun.
England have another Golden Boot winner, of course, Harry Kane, who's going to be, I think, really important for England.
Yeah. I think at the World Cup, Harry Kane is key, isn't he? He's England's main man.
Yeah, England's main man, most important player.
Okay, no debate needed.
Potentially Ballon d'Or contention as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Well. For me, Harry Kane is one of the best players, strikers at dropping deep as a 10, and he's so good when he has pace either side of him, which is why that Bayern front three works so well.
Right behind him, Jude Bellingham has once again reproduced the world-class form he displayed over the previous 2 major tournaments with his tireless running and match-winning goals. According to Roy Keane, the midfielder actually thrives under pressure, the very pressure that would crush most players in their early 20s.
I think you showed a really good example in terms of walk rate, winning the ball, doing the hard yards, and that does lift other players. Arrogance, confidence, especially, especially
whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, but whatever you want to call it, but especially if you back it up. He backs it up. So you can't be critical of him.
The brilliance of England's attacking stars is firmly supported by the midfield partnership of Declan Rice and Elliot Anderson, two players who quietly do the dirty work of winning the ball back and shielding the defence while rarely appearing in highlight reel. They are the solid platform that gives Kane and Bellingham complete freedom to shine, following the timeless formula of every great tournament-winning team, protecting the geniuses with warriors who are willing to do the hard work. That solidity extends all the way to the goal, where Jordan Pickford is not merely reliable, but also one of the Premier League's best shot stoppers this season, based on post-shot expected goals conceded metrics. Together, they form an England side that is balanced, complete, and immensely powerful in every position from front to back. That formidable strength is amplified even further by a healthy and progressive atmosphere of competition for places. Anthony Gordon and Marcus Rashford are engaged in a fierce battle for the left-wing spot, but according to Tuchel, they push each other like teammates on the training ground rather than rivals trying to bring one another down. On the opposite flank, Noni Madueke has earned his place in the starting lineup purely through his performances. In that context, Bukayo Saka recovering from injury and preparing to return to a team that has continued winning without him only makes England an even more terrifying force rather than a weaker one.
I'm very happy and very lucky coach because they arrived with this mindset, so I didn't have to get them in the mindset. They arrived with this mindset, and now is the difficulty to keep them in the mindset. A very famous conductor gave the quote, he doesn't want to disturb the music and he doesn't want to disturb the musicians. So that's basically what we try to do in the coaching team. We don't disturb the players and don't disturb the match. Just encourage them and encourage them to play with freedom, especially in the attacking position.
Forget the dry tactical diagrams for a moment, because what England have truly been longing for over the past 60 years is clearly a master conductor. Now, the Three Lions Symphony is playing in its most harmonious form, perfectly blending a captain who continues to shatter records, a midfield genius who shines brightest under pressure, a rock-solid defensive system, and a goalkeeper performing at the peak of his powers. Standing behind every one of those perfectly assembled pieces by deliberate design is the manager who once conquered the Champions League. The group stage has merely served as a solid launching pad, confirming the status of a future king. Both in theory and in reality, this squad possesses every ingredient required to march confidently toward lifting the biggest trophy of them all. Every one of those perfectly fitting pieces is now pointing toward a historic milestone that has not been repeated since 1966, when Bobby Moore lifted the World Cup trophy at Wembley. Throughout the 6 decades that followed England's only World Cup triumph, English football has become nothing more than a long sequence of heartbreaking disappointments, from penalty shootout defeats in the semi-finals of 1990 and 1996 to the loss against Croatia in 2018.
And Croatia, for the first time ever, will play in a World Cup final.
And then came the 2 occasions when they let the European Championship trophy slip away right at the gates of paradise in 2021 and 2024.
Spain, champions of Europe yet again, and the best team won it. Once more, this zestful football nation has come to the party and danced the most beautiful dance.
Now imagine the scene on July 19 in New Jersey, when the final whistle blows and England officially stand on top of the footballing world. That triumphant moment would undoubtedly redefine the legacies of many individuals. First and foremost, such an achievement would elevate Thomas Tuchel into footballing immortality in the most extraordinary way possible. In the past, foreign managers such as Sven-Göran Eriksson and Fabio Capello both failed. Now, if a German, appointed because England had run out of patience with its own, manages to end a 60-year drought, he will become the ultimate outsider who healed a wound an entire nation could never heal by itself. Harry Kane's resume would also reach its ultimate completion. The captain who endured years of mockery because of the paradox of being the greatest striker without a trophy during his Tottenham days has now become England's all-time leading goalscorer, surpassing even Gary Lineker's World Cup scoring record. A World Cup winner's medal would instantly end every debate surrounding his stature for the national team, while opening an entirely new discussion about where he belongs among the greatest number 9s in football history. Likewise, Jude Bellingham would turn every expectation into undeniable reality. already on course to break David Beckham's England appearance record, while consistently being England's best player across 2 consecutive major tournaments. Lifting the World Cup would serve as the ultimate declaration that he is the defining icon of English football. The impact of reaching Football Summit would extend far beyond the boundaries of a sporting event. Whenever England have previously gone deep into major tournaments, the media have dreamed of a national bank holiday on the following Monday. But if they truly lift the World Cup after 6 long decades, that moment would become a historic milestone forever etched into the memory of an entire generation, with every person across England remembering exactly where they were on that unforgettable afternoon. That dream is now backed by a clear reality. The Three Lions possess every favourable condition needed to rightfully stand among the tournament's leading contenders, fully prepared to challenge football's greatest powers, such as France and Argentina, in the pursuit of the World Cup. That enormous expectation has clearly gone beyond the boundaries of wishful thinking. In reality, England's current status and strength represent a genuine possibility, firmly supported by the combination of extraordinary talent and an exceptionally well-structured system. Even so, a realistic perspective always demands caution before the inevitable cold showers, because 4 major obstacles still stand between this team and a victory parade. The greatest concern remains England's overwhelming dependence on Harry Kane, with the entire attacking system revolving around a single player, something that has long ceased to be a secret among their opponents.
You cannot only have Harry Kane popping up with goals.
If we get an injury to Harry Kane just before the World Cup, who starts for him? What happens down the middle? We don't actually have a recognised number 9.
Well, we have got them, but none of them are in any form, other than Kane.
It's frightening, isn't it?
Yeah.
The evidence is obvious. Their captain accounts for more than half of the total international goals scored by the current squad, while none of the backup strikers comes anywhere close to matching his level. Lose him for even one knockout match, and the entire structure and attacking threat of this team would immediately be thrown into disarray. The second obstacle is the lack of creative solutions against deep defensive blocks. Both Declan Rice and Elliot Anderson are elite ball-winning specialists, yet neither possesses the vision of a playmaker capable of tearing apart a packed defence with one moment of genius. Against an open and chaotic game like the one Croatia provided, England looked virtually unstoppable. Against an opponent willing to sit deep and defend with absolute discipline, however, it becomes an entirely different challenge.
This was the norm. This was more the norm. England, dull as dishwater.
Yes.
Unable to have the brains or the guile to break a team down. It's not always easy that sits deep, which Ghana were doing, particularly in the first half. So they did not have the wherewithal to break that down. Do you know what? I would really worry about this England team in the knockout stages. That's what, when I was looking at this game today, I was thinking, do you know what? England will get to the knockouts, we know that, comfortably. But when they face one of the elite or better teams, I think there's some easy holes to find in this England team going forward and defensively.
The difficulties extend beyond tactics and into the daunting road that lies ahead. England's journey begins with a round of 32 clash against DR Congo before a potentially monumental test against hosts Mexico at the iconic Estadio Azteca, where the high altitude and the pressure generated by hundreds of thousands of passionate supporters await. Should they progress, Brazil could be waiting in the quarterfinals, the very opponent that eliminated England at this stage back in 2002, followed by a potential semi-final showdown against Lionel Messi's Argentina. Tournament history also presents an invisible curse, as only 2 European nations have ever won the World Cup outside Europe, Spain in 2010 and Germany in 2014. Alongside the geographical and historical obstacles, the haunting spectre of penalty shootouts and the issue of physical fatigue form the 4th major barrier. England's painful penalty shootout history speaks for itself and reflects all the pressure they continue to carry. Even more concerning is the relentless club season that still weighs heavily on the legs of key players such as Declan Rice and Bukayo Saka. Forced to exhaust themselves under the scorching summer heat, physical and mental fatigue could easily determine the outcome of a knockout match before the first penalty is even taken. After everything, the talent of this generation is unquestionably real, and Thomas Tuchel's system is equally clear.
Yeah, England aren't great at the moment, but with those two up front, I think they've still got a chance.
So I would have thought England will have enough.
Good.
and I think they'll probably go on and win the World Cup. And I think we should say that without, fear of jinxing them. It seems pretty evident to me.
Yet the pull of history's dark shadow, determined to prevent them from reaching glory, is an equally unforgiving reality. The battle to break those historical chains officially begins on July 1st in Atlanta, where DR Congo stand as the first obstacle testing the resolve of the Three Lions. Should they overcome that challenge, the next test will be the cauldron of Estadio Azteca, with its punishing altitude and deafening atmosphere, the kind of away ground from which even greater footballing powers than this England team have failed to return victorious. By the time this grueling journey reaches its conclusion, Harry Kane may very well have broken and rewritten every major goal-scoring record English football has ever known. The only question that remains is whether that legendary captain can personally write the perfect and complete ending to the historical story of an entire nation. If you enjoy our video, don't forget to hit like to help this video reach to other football lovers, and hit the subscribe button to follow for more interesting videos about football stories. See you in the next video.